Hello?
Hey.
Hold on 1 second. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. I realized I did something.
Okay. Don't do that.
Give me 1 second.
Whoa.
Okay. I hadn't had the settings changed over in Skype
Okay.
to be on the microphone. So it was going through the Mac, just like the built-in speaker. So I was like, wait, I'm not hearing you in my headphones. But now I can. That's a first.
Welcome to the newness of the headphones. Yes.
Yeah. I have like over-ear headphones, like some Audio-Technica over-ear headphones, and I've had to have one on, one off in the podcast because it's been like, because then it muffles my own voice.
Yeah.
I can't hear myself, and that drives me nuts. So yeah, I'm happy to actually have a functional microphone.
You heard about the pirate that had the steering wheel attached to his pants, right?
Whatever this joke is, this dad joke, I'm done already.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is a real thing that happened. There's a pirate that had the steering attached to his pants.
Yeah.
When asked why he had the steering wheel attached to his pants, he was quoted to say, "Arr, it's driving me nuts."
Oh my god. Did I just hear D go, ugh?
You did. See, the microphone isn't perfect. It needs to block out the background noise.
No, that is perfect. I'm glad someone else expresses the that.
I wish you could have seen the look that accompanied the sound of scorn coming from my wife, who, by the way, is getting hit on by delivery men now, which is hilarious. Well, I shouldn't even say now. This is an ongoing thing. And it's not the same delivery man. It's several delivery men. So this one today was kind enough to, kind of respect the rebuff, obviously. But there was one we were just talking about from a couple months ago where she was getting food delivered and I was on my way back, and the pickup line the guy tried to use was, "Hey girl, hey, you need some help eating all that food?" And it's like, what?
So first of all, never comment on a lady's food, dumbass. I'm amazed that she opens the door for delivery men, because I never open the door for people.
What do you do?
And I have a camera.
What do you do?
That I can look at. What do you mean, what do I do?
Like, when you get your food, you go outside and meet them, or do they just leave it?
I don't have food delivered to my home.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
No,
well,
I go out and get the food.
Ah, gotcha.
Even like pizza.
Okay.
I go get it.
Yeah,
I don't want to get murdered.
Yeah, I can understand the concern. We're not quite at that level of concern about it, but
okay. So if it's I'm with someone else and they order it, then I'll just have them get the door.
Plus, we've got our protector BMO here, so everything's okay.
Yeah. Having a dog helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm just like, nope.
So you never get pizza delivered?
I didn't say never, but if I do, I don't answer the door.
Oh, okay.
I rarely answer the door. I've done it a couple times, and it's always been a mistake. No, unless I'm told that I have to sign for something, and it's like, no, you got to be there. You got to sign for something. Then I will do it. But I have a camera, like there's a camera set up out front, and I will check and make sure that there's like a truck and that you're a legit person and not a creep.
Yeah, we order through, the delivery services like DoorDash and Grubhub and stuff like that when we get delivery. Yeah. So, there's some checks and balances there, because it's like, hey, this is the person that's delivering it. Usually when they ring us, because we have like the security gate in front of our building, they have to announce who they are, and they'll say DoorDash delivery, blah, 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 all that stuff. So it's a whole process. Plus, you got to come up some stairs to get to our door. So
I was just getting ready to say it's a different situation too, because you live where you live, like parking is tough and everything like that.
Right.
Like, so going out to get food, it's not I could see if I was in your situation ordering in more.
Yeah.
But then I would just be like, to like no one, like act like someone was home.
Yeah,
That's
of course.
That's how you don't get murdered.
Or
right
just,
there.
get real chummy with your neighbors. So if you have a blood-curdling scream, they actually come and check on you. That's one option. But what I was saying is that by the time
I have to talk to my neighbor. Fuck that. Oh,
by the time
I hate every scenario in this.
Listen. By the time the security, or rather not the security, but the delivery guy gets up to our floor, he's already too out of breath to like stabble anyone because it's just it's a lot of work, okay? It's a lot of work getting up these stairs. I've had people who are physically in shape, come up these 2 flights of stairs to get to our place and still just like, I don't know how you do this every day. I'm like, man, every day. And then we have stairs inside our home too. So
stairs wreck me because in Florida, there aren't a lot of 2-story buildings.
Yeah.
Homes are not built that way. Buildings are not built that way. Like the malls here, most of them are like 1 story because I guess it's like a hurricane thing, or it was a hurricane thing. I don't know. But basically there aren't a lot of stairs. So when I do encounter stairs, like when I go to school or something, I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I attribute my massive thighs and calves to the stairs. No, I'm just Nordic by nature. Yeah. Not because I hate you. Yeah, that's all.
No, I get it more. I don't know. I just get, I think it's also like watching certain movies and things like that. Like I saw a movie way too young. And it wasn't like I was specifically watching it. It was like my mom was watching it.
Okay.
And I had caught a part of it, but like it was it was like something that should have been turned off because it was basically like a girl answering the door type of thing and then was just straight up murdered. And she was on the phone with her mom, and her mom was like in the traffic in the car listening to her daughter get murdered. It was a whole thing. Up. I don't know what movie it was.
Yeah.
I can't remember what movie it was. I know that whoever the lead actress was famous. Like it was actually like a legit actress. But yeah. So now I'm like, no, don't answer.
Well, yeah, I don't know, man. I've always lived this way, so I never really gave it much thought, you know, as far as the stairs go and the delivery thing goes. It's just, just life.
No, and I'm not saying I never get things, like I do occasionally get pizza or Chinese food or something delivered, but usually I'm like, nah, I'll just go get it.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, that's more equitable just money-wise. Like, all right, so you're going to get food if you want to eat fast food, so that makes sense. If I could do that without, like you said, losing parking and having to drive around for like an hour and a half to find a space or wait for somebody to come out or just eat the ticket, then, that totally makes sense. Perfect sense. But yeah, I got to like go outside and there's not any restaurants on my block or anything like that. So it's like I'd have to walk all the way past the scary red line stop.
Yeah, basically everything here is really close.
I'm giving way too many details about my neighborhood, so I'm going to stop now. So we're going to move on.
It's all gibberish to me. So.
Yeah. But I mean, to the Chicago people, like, red line, huh? Okay, well, there's only certain stops. All right, so anyway.
They're going to stalk you. Worst fears become reality.
Yeah, so you'll be happy to know. That we are taking a vacation in the near future. So...
That's awesome. Where are you going?
Probably going.
Or if you're not decided.
We haven't decided 100% yet. Okay. But we're looking at some places. We're checking some things out. Yeah.
You have ideas. Are you staying in the States? Or are you going?
We're gonna stay in the States.
Fancy.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna do something fun, but we're gonna stay in the States.
Have you ever been outside of the country?
We went to Canada a few years ago for our anniversary. That was a lot of fun. We went to Toronto and just lived it up there. You know how big of a Scott Pilgrim fan I am. So we, of course, went and checked out some spots that, they filmed Scott Pilgrim in. Like we went to Casa Loma, which was, filmed not only during the, who was it? Chris, which Chris is Captain America? Chris, Evans. Yeah. So Chris Evans, when he was doing the skateboard scene and everything, that happened outside of Casa Loma. Famously, and I'm kind of bearing the lead here, is also the X Mansion from the early X-Men movies.
I mean, it's Toronto, so there's going to be a lot, Vancouver and Toronto and everything. There's going to be a lot of locations that are like,
And I mean, it was a beautiful place and it was a lot of fun. The food was great. The people were great. There's a different vibe when you go places on vacation But, we were there like during a work week, and it wasn't like necessarily summer yet. So nobody was really in like vacation mode. And the folks that we were, just kind of relating to and everything and talking to and just having fun with, it was just a regular week for them. They seemed cool as hell, laid back, chill, really friendly. We had some poutine. And we came back home. It was good stuff.
That's cool. Yeah, I've never been outside the country. I got my passport because I thought that there was going to be, it looked like, so I have gotten opportunities to travel. Like I've been to Hawaii and San Francisco and stuff like that. And it's basically like helping out my dad's company working. And then it's like they pay or in the past they've paid for me to go to these places. And then I just work, and then it's like I have nights and, maybe an extra day or so to go explore the area. So I've gotten the chance to do stuff like that. But, so I thought a couple of years ago that it was I think it was Italy, was the option, and it didn't work out. But so I got my passport and everything, but yeah. Like,
that's one thing I was disappointed in with Toronto. Like, we went to Canada and we flew into New York and we drove, we did the just drive-in thing because it was a little cheaper. Stopped at a Tim Hortons. We just did everything stereotypical in Canada because we were just having so much fun. But we didn't get the stamp on the passport. And I was told that you get stamps on your passport when you go to other countries. No stamp.
Isn't that an airport thing only?
I don't know.
Or trains, maybe?
I don't know, man.
Planes,
but I was
trains,
disappointed. I need to find out, and I need to make this happen.
Yeah.
Because I've been to Toronto.
But they did check your passport.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably an airport thing.
Yeah, and it wasn't one of those scary situations with, step out of your vehicle. We need to sit. Nothing like that. It was just, real chill and relaxed. Everything was cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's that difficult when you're talking about that because they deal with so much tourism.
Yeah.
I don't think that's difficult. I think it's like when you're trying to get into Canada for like citizenship, it is very difficult. But...
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've looked into it.
It's great there. Man, the funniest thing, and this is all I'll say about this. So we were there, we were staying at a hotel, and we were going on to the next leg of our journey, which was Niagara Falls. So we were leaving the hotel, and I'm packing up the rental car and everything, and Dee's checking out at the desk, and I'm just making small talk with other people, getting their car too. She's like, "Oh, so how you doing? You enjoying your trip?" I'm like, "Yeah." All right, that's not a weird question. That's normal. You're at a hotel, fine.
Yeah.
And so she goes, "Oh, so you drove all the way from Illinois, huh?" I'm like, "What the fuck? How do you
it's
know
your
where
license
I'm from?"
plate, dude.
It was the license plate.
Yeah.
Our rental car had an Illinois plate on it. And I was just so it took me a couple minutes and I had to ask. I'm like, yeah, this conversation is nice and all. Who the fuck are you? Where are you following
I'm
us?
so used to living in a touristy area that I just play license plate games where I'm like, oh, look, there's one from actually a lot of Canadians down here.
But I mean, it was just odd. The odds of us getting an Illinois plate and being in a completely different country at the same time. Because we rented a car, it was weird. It was weird.
That is funny. That's good. We're just like, what? Yeah, that reminds me of a story with years ago. It's not the same, but it's like why is this happening kind of thing. My dad had like a beer koozie in a drawer, and so every once in a while he would have a beer and he would get it and it would smell like vanilla.
Oh, vanilla.
And so every time he would have a drink, he'd smell vanilla, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And so he started to get seriously worried. This went on for like a year.
Oh wow!
And he got super scared, and I went in there. I'm like, "There's incense in here. Like it was either incense or like those like wax candle things or whatever." I'm like, "That's what this is." He's like, "Oh, thank God! I thought I was dying."
Oh God. No. Like, I know what burnt toast means. I didn't know vanilla.
What does vanilla mean? What does vanilla mean?
Yeah, pennies, okay, but vanilla, like, that just means that someone's making something delicious around you, man. It's all good.
We have this constant joke about stuff like that, where it's like, uh-oh, I smell a thing. Stroke check. Like,
right.
And you and I have talked about that. We were like, you have to ask a coworker, are you making toast?
Exactly.
What's that burnt smell?
Right. Like, it's just a little concerning. But, if you're making toast, I'd like a slice, please.
Yeah, exactly.
So how you doing? How's everything by you?
I'm good.
Good.
Good here. Everything's good.
Cool.
It's all good. How you doing?
I'm all right. No problems. Everything's groovy. The internet fucking sucks.
What'd it do now?
Well,
What'd it do?
Everybody has an opinion about things they don't care about until they have an opinion about it. So.
Oh, I wonder what you're talking about.
Yeah, obviously, I'm talking about the trailer for Mulan. No.
Oh, yeah. Okay, wait. Before we move to the thing that I know you're talking about.
Yes.
What did you think of the trailer for Mulan?
I thought it was wonderful.
I agree.
I thought it was really cool.
It was wonderful.
I
However,
like how they brought it down to earth. Didn't fuck around with the mystical animals or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
That's
Disney.
what makes me sad. It's not a musical.
They're trying a lot of different things with these live action films, and I respect that.
I respect it as well,
Yeah.
but I was kind of sad that they didn't break out in a song. And apparently they've changed the romantic lead or whatever, the male lead.
Yeah.
It's not the same guy. Character, I mean.
Oh, really?
No, yeah, they completely changed that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they I think that was announced alongside, like, it's not a musical. So that makes me sad.
Yeah, that's kind of the downside to these live action remakes. It's like you want it to be the story that but at the same time,
yeah,
it's got to change, or else you're just going to be painting by numbers. There have been a lot of movies, Disney and non-Disney, that have done remakes or just live action interpretations of things, and it's just been paint by numbers, and it doesn't really do anything to sell you on it, like Watchmen.
Yeah. So Mulan, though, this is the part that doesn't make sense to me. So Mulan is an actual, like, story.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
So what, I don't understand. So Disney took that real thing.
Uh-huh.
That fable. Is it like a real person, or is it just a fable?
You know what? We're going to do some research because I've read a couple of different things about it. I've read that it's a fable that has been interpreted different ways, over time.
You do that, and I will speak.
Okay.
So Mulan is its own thing outside of Disney. So the part that confuses me is that, whenever Mulan came out, was that late 90s, early 2000s, the original Mulan cartoon came out. It was a musical animated rendition of this story that has already existed in Chinese culture, whether it's real or we're going to clarify that in a minute.
Yeah.
So what makes this a Disney movie then? If it's not a musical, if it's not that exaggerated version of the Mulan story, is it? Is it just Mulan then? Like, is it just that original story?
We have a long history of Disney live action films that aren't musicals. And I think that is a testament to how Disney, the brand, just completely envelops musicals as well as explores things outside of them. I don't know why I'm rambling about this. They make movies that aren't musicals. That's what I'm getting at here.
I understand that.
Escape from Witch Mountain, and we have,
I'm not saying it has to be a musical. It clearly doesn't have to be a musical.
Right.
I'm
happy.
Right. I'm excited for it either way.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, because if I'm not mistaken, they've made Mulan films. Like they've made other, not Disney, but like other.
They've done
companies.
interpretations of it. I mean, just like The Lion King, they've had other versions of The Lion King as well. This was, it's all, I don't want to say fake. It's a fable. It's a legend, basically.
Legend, yes. Yeah. Okay.
It's a legend that's been passed down. Yeah.
So they're taking the legend and in my opinion, like putting their Disney spin on it.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting more than anything. I'm not opposed to it. I think it looks really well done. I'm just, I kind of missed that part of it, but I'm still very open to it.
Yeah, and the music is still in it. It's just they're doing it more of as an accompaniment than having them just break out in song.
Yeah. I mean, I want the breaking out song, but
well, we're getting that with the Lion King later this month, of course.
yeah, next week.
Yeah, next week, yo. So that's happening. Yeah. So the Mulan trailer came out, and
It looks good.
People thought it looked good. You know, overall, I saw like a positive vibe about it.
Yeah,
and
I
what
thought
was
there was
cool
a lot
was
of
that
positivity.
like Asian Americans were able to like, you know, kind of give a little bit of clarity about certain things, certain aspects of it, and you could see that love and joy that folks get. Like, you know, it's so cool to see people's like various cultures represented on the screen appropriately, and to see folks just get so emotional about it and just get so happy and just like joyous, just seeing like, yes, they're finally getting this right, or they're trying to do this differently.
They did. The actress playing Mulan is actually Chinese, correct?
Right.
Yes,
They were
awesome.
really particular about the casting this time around.
It took them a long
great.
time to cast that character too.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. The movie, really the whole thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know who the casting agent is at Disney, but kudos to them. They're doing a great job. And
yeah, they're getting down to business.
They are getting down to business. And that actually brings us to the main story, which is the casting for Ariel in The Little Mermaid. Now, see, here's the problem with Ariel. Ariel. See, I know a young lady named Ariel now in real life. And so when I first met her, of course, everybody called her Ariel because they saw her name written and they're familiar with the character from Little Mermaid. So it's kind of like a Metal Gear, Mortal Kombat situation with Raiden and Raiden. So if I slip up, call me out. And for our listeners at home, if it's the appropriate time of day, take a shot if I mispronounce it.
I'm going to refrain from commenting on this because I get prickly about weird pronunciations. So
okay.
I will call you out though.
How
so
did you watch
Ariel.
Angry Beavers? Okay.
I didn't. It wasn't when I was a kid. It's more as an adult now.
Gotcha.
As a like, really. Anyway.
I'll do my best. Ariel, yes. So Ariel. So they recast. They cast the lead of The Little Mermaid, the upcoming live action half
Now this
CG.
one will be a musical.
Yes, this will be a musical. And of course, they cast a young lady who's African American. And the internet lost their fucking minds about it. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
So
she is a singer and an actress.
She is. So you have a good chunk of the internet celebrating because they cast a woman of color. And then you've got the nasty part of it, just fucking freaking out about it.
Okay, so we'll get into the nasty dumbasses. Can we just take a moment, though? Do you remember the week before how everyone was so angry that Melissa McCarthy was going to be Ursula? How fucking mad everyone was.
Oh, I remember.
That she was going to be Ursula. And I was like, well, okay, like she could be Ursula. Like I was like, all right, I'm indifferent about this, whatever. And then it was the exact real flip the switch when they cast Ariel as black. And I was like, oh, this is really like peak outrage season, isn't it?
It was like just chef's kiss. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
So fucking hell, man. I just don't, I don't like it. Like,
you don't like her being Ariel being black?
No, not at all. Of course. I love it. I love it. I love it because it's just like, you know, the fucking like asshole tears, man. You know, and that's a terrible thing to say, but it's true.
So there's no reason that Ariel can't be black. Like, if they cast, you know, I've seen the stupid fucking arguments where they're like, what if so-and-so was white, cast white or whatever, or cast this or cast that. I'm like, okay, yeah, if they cast Mulan as an African-American black actress,
right,
then yeah, I would be annoyed and mad because that's a Chinese character.
Right.
Like, it's relevant to the story, the whole story. So, like, but if you're talking about, like, Belle from Beauty and the Beast, or Ariel, Sleeping Beauty, whatever her fucking name was, like, a lot of these characters are not Like, their race doesn't really matter.
You will
Like,
respect Princess Aurora, by the way, but please continue.
Princess Aurora. I was never a big fan of that. That's why I don't know. But like Cinderella, like all of these, the race is not a part of the story, so they can be any race. So really, the important part is casting someone who can sing and
Yeah.
act.
Yeah, I love it too because it's just always just like, oh, hey, what if we made this black character white? It's like, dude, all right, so.
Like, okay, well, first of all, why don't you name some black characters? Have fun with that game first.
I'm not even doing that qualifier.
No.
I'm just laughing at the fact that it's
like, can you name black characters? Because there's like 2.
They talk about Black Panther. Like that's the go-to now. It used to be, it's funny because when Donald Glover did his stand-up special years and years ago, it was Shaft. That was the go-to. Now it's Black Panther. So I guess, hey, we got 2 everybody.
Congratulations, racism is over.
Yes, Obama was president. No more racism, y'all. What if Obama was white? What?
Oh,
snap. Anyway, so Black Panther, they go to that one now. They're like, what if Black Panther was white? It's
I can't be racist. My president was black.
First of all, his name is Black Panther. Secondly, he's from a part of Africa where there ain't that many white people. Third of all, most importantly, let's underline this and bold it and italicize it and put it in fucking Comic Sans because that's what your ass deserves. It's a comic book. This is a fictional character. Ariel is a fictional character. They cast the best fucking actress for the job. This is Disney, y'all. They ain't trying to waste money. They ain't trying to waste your time. They're trying to make sure that you enjoy this the most you possibly can. So sit back and fucking relax. And lastly, and this is, I'm gonna let you go, but I'm a little pissed off about this most of all. It went from 0 to 100 of, I don't really care about these remakes. I'm not going to watch it to how dare they ruin my childhood. Bitch, you weren't going to fucking watch it in the first place.
I agree. and I'm going to add on to what you're saying. This idea that they are baiting to adding diversity for the sake of diversity or whatever. That bullshit argument is totally fucking wrong because they could have, if that was true, they would have been doing this for every single movie they were coming out with. But Cinderella came out, it was white. Maleficent came out, Angelina Jolie was playing. Cinderella was played by Lily James. Terrific actress, terrific singer.
I'm excited for Maleficent too, honestly. I am. I mean,
Beauty and the Beast was Emma Watson. Terrific actress, terrific singer.
Yeah.
So they've done these movies, and now The Lion King, they have Beyonce, terrific singer. Actress, she was great in Dreamgirls. Like, I was gonna say she hasn't done that many films, but like what she has done, she's been great in. So, I mean, they're clearly just casting the right people for the parts.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. They're doing 2 things. They're casting every film. They're casting names that will draw people in. Like Melissa McCarthy is that for this movie, if she is in fact cast. She's a name that will help draw people in. And then they're casting, like, in addition to that, talented people. Like, I don't see the problem. I mean, obviously, we both are like, this is fucking stupid. I don't get it. But, yeah, I just, I think it's weird. I found the Hollywood is racist against gingers argument to be absurd.
Yeah. I also find it interesting, and this is something that I want to look into a little bit more. List. Yeah, it was quite ironic. Like, okay. Well, you know what it is too, and I think the real reason for this is because usually redheaded characters in comic books and in media are treated as a sidekick or an also-ran. I mean, that's just the way it's always been. You look at Jimmy Olsen, and usually those are the characters that they decide to attempt to tweak the race with a little bit of those side characters.
Add diversity.
Yeah, not the main ones usually.
Right.
But characters like Jimmy Olsen and Starfire, they're not really the star of the project. They're usually just kind of like the supporting cast.
Yeah.
So, and also, shout out to Starfire and Jimmy Olsen because that casting was phenomenal, and those actors and actresses, the actor and actress are phenomenal as well.
Yeah, and like there is, there is a thing where like I've heard, there is like some bullshit that gingers deal with, particularly in like the UK, where people will like physically fuck with them and stuff.
That's fucked up.
That's a fucked up thing.
Right.
But that's not what's happening right now, guys. That's not what's happening. This idea of we need to give little ginger girls a ginger actress to look up to. I'm like, what? Huh?
That's so strange.
You mean Emma Stone and Amy Adams and Jessica Chastain and like keep going fucking on and on with this list of all of these like there's plenty.
Who's the girl that played Gamora's sister in
Karen Gillan.
Karen Gillan.
Karen Gillan.
Yeah, I'm awful with names. It's not just because it's her. I'm sorry, but you get what I'm saying.
I don't expect people to know all the names.
No, you're just the font of knowledge, and I appreciate that. However,
sometimes I don't know it, but
what I'm getting at here is the fact that, like, all right, so I didn't know about the whole redhead thing, the whole weird hazing of redheads that they have over in the UK until recently, maybe about a year ago. I was talking to somebody about it, and it's fucked up, man. It's really fucked up. Like it comes from a chiding sort of place, but then it's like some people go overboard with it.
Right.
So I don't.
It's bullying, and bullying's always wrong. Like,
yeah, exactly. And so like I don't really say ginger because I'm like, it feels weird. It's not for me. But I'm not gonna like decry anybody else for doing it. But it's like, all right, it's just like it has too many overtones of the different things that black folks go through. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna.
I say ginger because I have a number of gingers in my family.
Yes.
Because I have Irish there, so
yeah.
I've seen how other kids can be, and how like ginger kids like fucking hate it. Like redheaded kids can hate being a redhead when they're growing up. So I definitely sympathize with that.
For sure.
I just don't. I guess I don't care this much. Where I'm like, okay, can she sing? The first thing I did was look this actress up.
Right.
This young woman on her music, and then like IMDb, what acting has she done or whatever, and I heard her sing, and I was like, cool, talented, sold.
That's all it takes. And you know what? I mean, we had a whole movie of people who can't sing, who sang in Les Miserables. So it happens. That's how you pronounce that, right? Les Miserables.
Les Miserables.
Okay.
So some of those
talk singing.
Some of those are good. Yeah, it is talk singing. It's a different type of thing. Did you see the picture of? God, I can't. It's Halle Bailey.
Oh, the actress's name, or?
Yes. How do you pronounce? What is her name?
It's Holly, starts with a B. It's not. See,
Bailey.
that's the funny thing too. Like, okay, just as a side note, people
who thought Halle Berry was cast? Because I fucking did. Does that make you racist? Okay.
No, not at all. Because I like just your mind wanted to complete that as Halle Berry, as did mine.
It looks the same.
That would have been a complaint right there. It would have been like, why are they casting Halle Berry in this role as a teenage mermaid? Like the casting agent hadn't seen
unless it was like Hook. Like
yeah, I guess, but yeah, the casting agent hadn't seen any black woman outside of like 1990s cinema. She's like, you know what? Get Halle Berry on the phone. But no, this is Halle Bailey. That's her name.
Halle Bailey. Okay.
Yeah. So
did you see the picture of her with red hair?
Oh yeah, you know what's great about this too, and this is part of the love that I've seen outpouring is people, artists have been like just doing work of her as Little Mermaid, as Ariel.
So was that Photoshop?
There was a little bit of Photoshop. There's a little bit of pencil art. There's a little bit of CG.
Oh, okay. Well, the picture that like she looked like she was already filming the Little Mermaid.
Really?
I'm not saying that's what it was.
No,
I'm saying
because they haven't released anything yet.
I'm going to see if it's on her Instagram or something, because it looked phenomenal.
Yeah. And shout out to her for like weathering all this bullshit too. Because it cannot be easy.
Oh, Halle Berry came up.
But what I was going to say, just stopping there for a second, like Halle Berry, understanding that there had been so much confusion, she actually reached out to the young lady and congratulated her as well. And I thought that was sweet, you know?
That is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think what Disney's doing here is calculated, not by the casting, but in how early they're announcing this. You know, we're between the release of The Lion King and the first trailer debuting for Mulan. And I think they wanted to get this news out there in an organic way that it's far enough away from when they start teasing the film, far enough away from the D23 Expo, where they can kind of just like put this news with some other stuff to bolster it. What I'm hoping people remember, what I'm hoping the fans, the true fans, quote unquote, remember about The Little Mermaid and about Disney is that The Little Mermaid was part of a reawakening of the golden age of Disney.
Yeah, it kicked it off.
It kicked it off. They had a lot of trial and error where they were, just utilizing old methods that had worked for them in the past. But they were at a low pretty much. The whole reason why we know about Bluth, Don Bluth Productions, Secret of NIMH and that sort of thing, is because Disney was basically at its weakest. But when
he made some great films,
and that's not to decry the Bluth
An American
style
Tail,
at all.
Rockabilly,
Rockadoodle. Yeah. So American Tail, Rockadoodle, Secret of NIMH, of course.
I haven't seen that one.
The artwork for the games Dragon's Lair and Space Ace. Those were fantastic. Beautiful. So all I'm getting at is the fact that like Little Mermaid kicked off the golden age of Disney, the second golden age, if you count from all the way back to Snow White to now. And we haven't seen that type of just love and care put into characters in forever. I mean, I'm excited about this because Little Mermaid was a big deal. Like, even as just like a young boy who had no connection to the character, hardly at all, I was just agape at the quality and the catchiness of the tunes and just it was just Disney.
What were some of your favorite, by the way, I sent you that picture in messages so you can look at it.
Yeah.
What were some of your favorite like of those Disney movies when they had the rebirth? So post Mermaid.
Post Mermaid, Aladdin number one for me. I thought that was like just a masterpiece. I went to the theater with my best friend at the time, Reggie, to see Beauty and the Beast. It wasn't weird at all. We were just like, you know what? We're here for it. This is Disney. We are here to see this wonderful work of art on the screen. We don't give a fuck about gender norms. This is the shit. And we're here to enjoy it. And we did.
Yeah. I loved Aladdin, Hercules, and The Lion King. Those are my favorites. Weirdly, none of them had female characters.
This photo is dope. Yeah. I think this has got to be Photoshopped
Beast too. I loved all of those movies.
Right. It's hard to find a weak one.
The Lion King was probably my favorite.
Yeah, The Lion King, like, I don't know,
That's
man.
why I'm so excited.
It was so good. It's like, it's its own genre almost. It supersedes Disney almost. It's so good. It's too good.
Because it's Shakespearean, but like as a Disney it's perfect.
Yeah. And I know Hercules gets a lot of shit, but I enjoyed Hercules.
What?
Yeah.
Wait. Why?
Well, this is funny. Actually, the YouTuber you were talking about last week, Lilith, or what's her name?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I am a plethora of film knowledge. I am not a plethora of YouTuber knowledge.
Okay.
So continue.
Well, we'll put it in the show notes, but there's the YouTuber that you mentioned last week. She had basically a moratorium, or not a moratorium. What am I trying to say here? Jesus. Okay, whatever. Anyway,
I don't know.
She did a recap of why Hercules didn't work. It wasn't her favorite Disney film. She said she wanted to like it. There were certain things she did like about it, but she spent about a half hour just poking holes in it. And I'm like, okay, fine. But I learned through that video and just by reading the comments, which you're never really supposed to do, and from just doing a little bit of research on my own, that a lot of folks didn't really like Hercules too much. They weren't sure about what the point of it was, I guess. And of course, with old dude that played Hades just being a fucking nut job.
Yeah,
now.
but
yeah,
I mean,
it was a hard sell in the first place. James Woods, that's his name. Thank you, D. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dee's just listening to half a podcast.
She
right
is.
Like,
She's
oh
gonna
God.
get the other half when we put it out there. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really loved Hercules. I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
But I liked Meg. And I loved the music, and yeah, I remember really digging it. I mean, I liked almost all of them.
I liked Tarzan too. And
oh my God, that soundtrack! Holy shit! I like that soundtrack better than I like the movie.
Well, see, that's another me and Reggie story right there. We both had just an amazing love of Phil Collins' music, which is another
Phil
weird
Collins
thing.
rules.
He does, and it's just funny because growing up, you have the CD case, you got like 64 sleeves, throw your CDs in there for your car ride, whatever. Of course, he had a little bit of hip hop in there. Of course, he had a little rock music. This man had 2 pages of CD sleeves dedicated to the catalog of Phil Collins. All right.
No one ever talks about how fucking intense In the Air Tonight is.
It's an intense song.
Wait,
yes.
they talk about the drums and everything like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, when it breaks out, I'm like, no. It's the before that part when he's like, if you were drowning, I would not lend a hand. Holy fuck.
It's dark.
That's probably the best song of the 80s. I mean, what? Come on, guys.
I mean, and that's not even
good.
taking into account his work with Genesis, both behind the drums and on the microphone.
Oh,
and just,
fantastic.
I mean, Misunderstanding is such a bop. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, so Tarzan had a beautiful soundtrack.
Tarzan had a beautiful soundtrack. You'll Be in My Heart.
Did you like the older Disney movies? Like, I remember not being as in love with Snow White and Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty the way that everyone else was. I was really into like the 90s ones.
It's funny. So I watch a lot of those, the YouTubers that talk about Disney lore and stuff. I've talked about that in the past. Something that I thought I misremembered that they actually helped bring to the forefront of my mind, which is Disney would cut certain films from their classic catalog as 1-hour specials. And I didn't realize that. So a lot of the Disney films that I saw growing up, they were actually aired as like 1-hour specials on like ABC or the Disney Channel. And
Gotcha.
I saw a lot of them that way. So for a kid with a short attention span, it was perfect. I saw as much of the movie as I needed to. I got the whole story, Yeah. And so sometimes I'd see them on like VHS or something if I was like at school and we had like, a off day or something like that. And they seemed a lot longer and they just wouldn't hold my attention. That's why, because they just cut down to the meat and potatoes of it in those hour-long specials.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to talk about the rehashing of animation.
Oh, like the special edition Blu-ray Diamond Collection, all that shit?
No. How, like, Robin Hood
is yeah.
copied animation. Like, that whole... It's like all other cells from other things and then change the characters up and everything.
So what you're talking about specifically is the fact that Friar Tuck, the bear from Robin Hood, was just a traced over Baloo, or at least they used that same animation from Jungle Book.
There's animation from like Snow White and stuff, or Sleeping Beauty too. Yeah.
So Snow
that movie
White
is just an amalgam of like other.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? Robin Hood was one of my favorite movies from that era too. I just really dug the fact that a fox was Robin Hood. I thought it was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he was so slick. He was a badass.
Yeah, it was kind of like the precursor to like Gummy Bears and Chip and Dale, just the anthropomorphized animals, So
definitely, but I also remember when I was growing up, I liked Robin Hood Men in Tights. I like the Robin Hood because I like bow and arrow. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I just love like the bow and arrow in video games. It's my favorite. I love it in TV shows. I love it in stories. I just think it's so cool because to me, I know that it takes skill to shoot a gun, but like the Punisher is never going to be cooler to me than Green Arrow or Hawkeye or whatever, because it takes so much physical strength and skill to wield a bow properly. Like, and I've shot a bow. It's hard. Like, it's incredibly hard. I would love to do it more often, but I get annoyed with ranges. And
yeah, the whole, like, there's a lot that goes into it, and understandably so, because it's, you know, you're holding a deadly weapon if used incorrectly. In high school, we got to do archery one time, and I was so angry about that because it was like, I'm not an athletic guy. I was never an athletic kid. And they put us through so many things in high school. Like, we still had to do square dancing at the high school that I went to. That was like a mandate of the curriculum. So when we got to the day where we actually got to do archery, I was fucking thrilled. Let me tell you, I got to gym on time. I changed on time. I showed up. I got people out on the field like, come on, let's go. Come on, it's archery day, y'all. It was serious. And I got out there and I shot that bow and arrow twice.
That's it? Oh,
That's
that
it.
blows.
So the closest thing to that I've done in recent memory is axe throwing.
Yeah.
Axe throwing is so
cool.
fun. I love doing it. I wish I could do it more. But the place that we went to, they've been incorporated into a bigger, they've been absorbed into a bigger company. So now it's more of a place for like bachelor parties and stuff like that. It's just not as, it's not as open.
There is a archery place near me, and that's where I went. And it's just weird because you're either in like class with kids kind of thing, or you're an adult who's been doing it forever, who's going to the range, and like you can get private classes, but they're expensive. And it's just that it's a whole thing. Ideally, I would, be able to, like, if I lived near my grandparents in their house, I would just go in their backyard, set up some hay and like just hit, because they live in the middle of nowhere in Indiana. But I don't live in that situation, so it's like I'd have to go to a range, and just like gun ranges and stuff like that. It's just weird people who are like, the apocalypse is coming, and I'm
just
like,
too into it. Just a little too jazzed about it.
Yeah, I'm
so
like,
I've considered
I just want to shoot this bow, and ideally, I would have headphones on, and be listening to loud music that drowns everything out, and not paying attention to anything around me, and just doing this thing. Like, I would take 2 lessons from a professional person, and then just go in backyard, do it. Like,
now see, this is a great idea. Airbnb offers a lot of different experiences. If I found an Airbnb option that says, hey, look, you come to this cabin for the weekend, you got an archery range set up out back, you go ahead and just knock yourself out, but just be careful. Here's the rules, practice a little bit, all that stuff. Sign this waiver, obviously, that absolves me from any responsibility.
No. What we need to do is not do that. You're trying to make a business out of it. We just need to buy the full house.
Yeah.
And then we have the full house where we can like cohabitate, or the land or the farm that I've discussed, where it's like we all have our own separate spaces, but we live in a community together. And then we kill outsiders if they try to come in and like farm our own shit, and we have ostriches and all of that.
It's the Lex and Matt podcast compound. Come on down, everybody.
Yeah,
or don't,
do not
because
come
we have
down.
bows and arrows.
We will kill you.
That's
like, but like that's my thing. I'm like, no, I just want to live in this place. And my adopted mom, Andrea, has a place like this in North Carolina, like a cabin in North Carolina. And she has said that I could, use a bow there. But like, it's in North Carolina. I can't do that. Come on. Yeah.
Man, the only.
And like I said, my grandparents' house, but it's in Indiana. So, and it's like 5 hours from you. So that's not exactly convenient for either of us.
Look, if there's a bow and arrow at the older that.
Before the wedding that I went to in March, I told Matt, I'm like, I'm going to be in Indiana. And he's like, what? Where? And he literally was like, looking up on Google how far it would take to drive because he was about to haul ass down
I
there.
was gonna try to say, hey, I figure, I see you once a year for this
they'd
podcast.
be scared though. You're a black dude coming into old white people territory.
Yeah, maybe not there. But I know lots of Indiana people, everybody from Indiana drives like shit. But other than that, they're cool,
No, they're cool. And I have mixture of, man, my family would be fine, most of them. Let me rephrase that. Anyone who would listen to this podcast is just fine.
I'm not expecting your family to be 100% cool, okay? Like, I can't hold that against anybody.
No,
it takes a lot of effort.
They're really not that way. My dad, it's almost a very similar scenario. My dad brought one of his closest friends to Indiana one time, and he's like, really big dude, and he's black, like dark-skinned black man, and and he wore like a cowboy hat and cowboy boots in Indiana because he had never been in that area before. And my dad just said it was so funny how, but no, everyone's pretty cool about it. Yeah. I think that it's more of that, like, that's why when I watched Get Out, I was like, oh yeah, that's the kind of racism that I think that I've mostly seen in my life. Yeah. Like, it's the subtle little bullshit. But moral of the story is, I wish I could do archery. And so
that's bringing it on back. I mean,
speaking of racism, archery.
Yes, archery. No, with the whole thing with family, right? Like, if you're bringing somebody to a cookout, it's like, who's gonna be there, and if there's any unexpected family members that you're who are surprise entrants to the cookout, then that's, kind of like got to give that a pass. Not saying that the person's okay, but the friend that brought you along, it's like, I'm not going to bring you to a cookout where there's going to be like homophobic people, because that would be fucked up.
Yeah, right.
The same way you're not going to bring me to a cookout where there's racist people. It's just not knowing.
Not that you know of.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously with me, it'd be a little bit more on the nose, Mm-hmm. But yeah, if cousin Susie, who doesn't really exist, so don't worry about it, starts mouthing off about how, gays don't deserve the right to vote or some crazy bullshit like that.
What a weird one.
I know. That's a weird pull, right? That's cousin Susie for you right there.
The Bible says gays should not participate in representative democracies, and therefore I do not agree with it.
I do not agree with it. Y'all get married, just you can't vote, okay?
Yeah, No, that's fine. It's the participating in democracy, both direct democracy and representative democracy. Did you know that America has both? And then we get into a whole political thing and, explaining how, hey, we do direct elections, and then we have representatives, and then Susie,
now I kind of want you to meet
how much meth
Susie.
are you on? I am on quite a bit of meth. Thank you very much.
Not even once. No, Susie.
Y'all don't do meth.
No.
I feel like I shouldn't have to tell you that, but some of you are still fucking doing meth.
Yeah.
And I have to say it. Don't do meth.
I mean, we had a whole 6 seasons of a cautionary tale of why you shouldn't be involved with meth, let alone do it. Yet here we are.
What was that?
I don't know. Oh, Breaking Bad.
Oh, wait, what? What are you talking about? Yeah, that show that you and I both devoured and loved and praised all the time, yes, and then could not remember just now.
That show that we marathoned like a meth head. Yeah, it's good shit. That's good shit.
Like a meth head.
Like a meth head. No disrespect to meth addicts. If you do have a problem, appreciate you listening to us while you get help. If you're not getting help, fuck you. Stop being a meth head.
Oh my god. So compassionate.
Yeah,
so wonderful. Man, usually I'm the dick. All right. That's fine. Cool with this. All right, moving on to another Disney property.
Moving on.
Kind of.
Okay.
Did you see the Spider-Man?
I didn't see the Spider-Man.
You didn't see the Spider-Man?
No, right. Because, as is the tradition, I have to go see the Marvel movies with Easter, and he was busy. So
okay. Yeah. I was like, I have to see it this weekend because Matt didn't see it and we need to discuss it on the podcast. So thanks.
I was sure I was going to see it, but things happen.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
No help.
I'm so disappointed.
I think you're gonna like it.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
It was better than Homecoming.
You know what? I got to give credit to the sites that I'm usually shitting on. So comicbook.com and CBR, they haven't flat out given me any headlines that I can figure out what the spoiler is for the end credits. I know there is an end credit scene. I know there's a mid credit scene.
Yeah.
But they haven't actually spelled out what it is. And I appreciate that. So
the mid credit scene is more important, I think.
Really? Okay. Yeah. They've been doing that lately, actually.
I think the second one is more of a joke and people are reading into it further. That without spoiling.
Yeah. My hope was that it would be a trailer for Into the Spider-Verse 2, but apparently nobody could have kept that under their hat. Okay.
No.
That just wouldn't have been possible. Cause the first one, Far From Home.
It's too early
or
for that.
Homecoming rather.
Homecoming, yeah.
Yeah. The end credit scene was just a scene from, Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. So
I was hoping for that again, but no.
The thing that I really loved, one of the things that I definitely liked Far From Home more than Homecoming.
Okay.
And I think that a big part of that is them improving on MJ.
Yeah.
Character.
Yeah. I'm
She's
glad of
so
that.
Good. Oh
I'm really
my
glad.
God.
And you know what? I think it was, they were concerned about, and this brings it all the way back around to, Ariel.
Another redhead recast.
Yeah, it brings it all the way back around. I think they were concerned about the backlash that they would receive, based on the casting. And they weren't that confident about it at that point. But this is Sony. This isn't Disney. So we can't even really say, oh yeah, they're all doing this in Disney. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm really excited to see this movie. I love Mysterio. And I'm glad that they finally did him justice, from what I understand.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We've talked. I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
I would have seen this movie even if I wasn't interested in the new Spider-Man movies, which I am.
Yeah.
But I think that he was another reason why it was a big improvement over the last one. And just, it being a post-Endgame movie, I think that they developed Peter better.
That's cool. That's good.
Well, let me rephrase that. Peter is a better developed character because of the numerous films he's been in. So,
yeah,
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, the end credit scenes are a whole separate thing. It's not as if we would be discussing them anyway because we don't want to spoil people. It just came out.
Right.
But yeah, I think you're gonna like it. I'm curious to hear what you think of it.
I'm curious to hear what I think of it too. So I will report back.
So speaking of spoilers.
Yeah.
I don't think I mentioned this last week because it didn't come out last week.
Okay.
Yeah. I was totally spoiled on which one, I'm not going to say the exact thing, but a huge part of Stranger Things, the ending, before I started watching it.
Oh, wow. How so? Who did that for you? Who did that to you?
Twitter.
Oh, yeah, that tracks.
Me checking Twitter for this fucking podcast.
Oh, shit. Yeah. They suck.
Twitter. We've talked about this before. I hate Twitter. Yeah. But I do it for you guys. Go donate to our Patreon, you assholes.
If that works. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, no. I was briefly checking Twitter and just was like giant fucking spoiler at the end of it wasn't even out 24 hours. Damn. Someone had burned through it and then everyone was talking about it online kind of thing. So the internet is dark and full of spoilers and you need to see stuff immediately or just tune it out. I should not have gone on Twitter. I mean, that was on me, but at the same time, it's kind of not because you guys are ridiculous. We need to really, really go back to spoiler etiquette.
I agree.
At least a week. Come on.
It didn't. Well, no, I'm not trying to, deny the fact that you're right here, but it didn't ruin your enjoyment of the show, did it?
Absolutely not. I thought it was their best season.
Me too. I thought it was so good.
Yeah.
Like, I can't say, and I have a hard time doing this with any show or any franchise. I can't really say it's better than the first because the first was just like bam, fresh out the grease. It was brand new.
What it was going to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was like, okay, that's groundbreaking and this is also good, but great, you know?
I was worried because they took so long. We've talked about this.
I was worried because I didn't really like season 2 like as much, you know?
Have you rewatched season 2? Because I rewatched the whole series before this one, and I will say it's better the second viewing.
Yeah.
It's much better the second viewing. That one episode is weak, but it all is better. But even after rewatching 1 and 2, 3 was out of this world.
I'm not gonna give a spoiler out, but I'm going to say one thing that you shared with me yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
For folks that are watching Stranger Things, if somebody mentions a phone number on the show, call that phone number. It's an Easter egg. That's it.
I just want to point out that baby Uma Thurman is fantastic, and I love her.
She is. She was really good. I was happy.
All of the fan art of her. I need it. Do
you understand how much pressure it is to be the daughter of an actor or an actress, but in this case, both?
Yeah,
very
Ethan
successful.
Hawke and Uma Thurman, and looks just fucking like Uma Thurman, and even sounds like Uma Thurman at times. It freaks me out.
That's interesting because other folks have said that she looks just like Ethan Hawke.
No, I mean I understand that, like I get it, but I hear and see Uma in her. I see the Ethan Hawke parts.
Yeah.
But mostly I'm just like, Uma, what? She's almost a more attractive Uma. And I say that with, trying to be, like, super respectful and nice.
Yeah.
But, like, it's just the mixture. Sometimes when celebrities have kids, they look like a photocopy of a photocopy.
Yeah.
And you're just like, something went wrong with you. But she's the inverse of that, where it's like, oh, no, you're somehow, I think both of your attractive parents somehow made a more attractive kid. And but that aside, which is not even the most important part, she's just really talented. And I loved her character. And I need more of her in season 4.
I love the direction they took with her too. I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, I was basically live tweeting with you, freaking the fuck out watching that. Oh my god, that was so good. Oh,
so good. So yeah, if you're waiting to watch Stranger Things 3, maybe get on that sooner than later because the internet has been kind to me. I managed to avoid spoilers. I haven't seen that many people talking about it, but obviously your mileage may vary. And
if you do get spoiled, don't let it ruin the experience for you. Like, I didn't do that. I was pissed off.
You know what I really kind of, what bugs me lately about, this is an effort of people to not spoil things, but they do like out of context spoilers go, you know?
I still figure that out and I don't like it.
Yeah, everybody's not great at that. And you need to recognize
you have to be so smart to do that. And most people are not smart enough to do that. I will say that, myself included. Like, I don't care. Like, we're not smart enough to do this, so let's just not. Like, let's just choose not to. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, if you have to ask yourself, then probably, err on the side of caution.
Well, yeah, we've had this discussion where it's like, is this racist? If you have to ask, then it's racist.
Is this a spoiler? Yes.
Yes. Is this a spoiler? Yes, it's a spoiler. Is this inappropriate? Yes, it's inappropriate. And then, well, maybe you still go with it. But, you if you have to ask that question, then more than likely you already know the answer.
Yeah. Well, Stranger Things.
I loved it though, man. It was it was so good.
Me too.
And I've seen weird random controversies pop up, like I guess Netflix is taking an initiative against smoking in their programming.
Oh, okay. I didn't even I didn't realize it was not present.
No. So after that was released, not in direct, like, not just because of Stranger Things, but overall, I guess they're going to try to reduce smoking on screen, because of some studies or whatever. Smoking makes you look cool, so we can't have that. So they they're going to try to reduce smoking. And then people were pissed off because, Hopper, for example, in Stranger Things smokes a lot. So is Joyce. They kind of are chain smokers. And they're like, but that's true to the time. And, people get one way or another about that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I saw Evan Rachel Wood was caught in some weird controversy about she dared to say that you shouldn't date someone like Hopper in real life.
Okay.
Because, well, what she was saying is she viewed some of his actions, particularly in season 3, like his jealousy and the way that it manifests as abusive behavior.
Okay.
And was basically trying to warn people about that because that's her whole thing. Like, she's literally going to law school now for that.
Yeah.
In addition to being like a huge fucking star and doing Westworld, she's like going to law school and writing legislation to try to end. I know one of the things that she's working on is trying to end, what's it called? When they limit, oh, damn it. When you can't, someone's screaming out there. When statute of limitations, that's it.
Oh, yes.
Stop that for domestic abuse because there are statute of limitations, and I know it's specific to California. But anyway, she was talking about how Hopper has problematic things about his character.
Yeah.
And then it turned into like hatred of this character and blah blah blah, and it's like it was a whole thing, and it didn't need to be a thing as much as she said, hey, some of these things are kind of viewed as attractive when we put them on screen, like smoking or whatever, and in real life they're not necessarily good for you, so you need to be aware of it. That's basically how I read what she said, and it's all on Twitter. You can go read it.
Yeah.
But it was interpreted as something else altogether, like Hopper was, it was like her shitting on him or something like that. And
people get weird like that close to the epicenter of things like this when you begin to analyze it a little bit more.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily 100% agree with her because I thought some of the things that she was criticizing him for were not as unreasonable. So, okay. An example being, and I don't know if this was her or someone else, but like how he was getting angry at, and this is not a spoiler because it's like in the trailer, at Eleven and Mike being in the room with the door closed.
Yeah, no, that's
and
classic.
Like, they were getting, like, and people were like, this is like, sex shaming girls or men.
Absolutely not. This is, they're teenagers and he's the dad.
And the same rules go for Mike's house if she's there. Like,
exactly.
It's not about that. And I can't stand that. There was a whole thing I saw on Reddit recently that was very similar, that was like a daughter who was like 13 years old or something. She was demanding or saying her parents should buy her some sort of sex toy or something.
Oh, wow.
And the dad, and so this was like, am I the asshole in this situation? The mom was like, no, we need to do this for her for her sexuality to be healthy. And then the dad was like, fuck no. And it was a whole thing of like, is it like encouraging? Is it discouraging? I don't know. Like, it's one of those things that everyone's gonna have to figure that out for themselves if they're a parent. But but him saying keep the door open, 3 inches or whatever, is not unreasonable. They're 14, 15 years old.
And then if Lord forbid she ends up pregnant or something, Mike's parents are going to be pissed off at Hopper, or vice versa, depending on where it happens.
I felt so uncomfortable with them because they're getting older, and that was the reason it was so good, was because they were exploring that in the show.
Yeah, and even if you want to quantify it by saying, okay, sensibilities were different in the 80s than they are right now. Sex shaming was a concept that wasn't even introduced in the mainstream yet. So, of course, Hopper, a cop from a small town,
he's
who didn't have internet, he's going to have classic morals and classic ideals of what a parent should be. Not to mention the fact that this is his second year being a dad to a teenager?
To a teenager, yeah. I mean, he was a father before, but.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I would also counter argue with that particular thing that as the season progresses, he progresses as well. So,
and I think if anything, that's unrealistic because, like I said, in the 80s, not to mention the fact, okay, so you want to pair this with the fact that, like, all right, this is the 80s when those concepts and conversations weren't happening as much.
Yeah.
Secondly, they are always being attacked by some otherworldly beast.
I know. Yeah.
If that happened to my child, I would be a little fucking hesitant to let her start banging somebody and having these mysterious powers that we barely know anything about.
Don't even say banging. I felt weird about this season because I was like, I both was happy for the kids who were making these connections.
Yeah.
And then I was deeply uncomfortable because, like, I was messaging you going, I like my teen dramas because they're like 30 years old and you can tell they're 30 years old and you don't have to feel weird about watching them make out. But now when you're watching actual teenagers, it's like, oh God, please make it end. Please stop this. I don't want this to be.
Yeah.
Please make it stop. I'm just like Hopper freaking out over here. Like, what's happening? What's going on?
So let's take 11 out of the equation altogether. So it's not as weird. Let's talk about some other psychic people who are, you know, maybe not coming of age, but coming into their powers for the first time as an adult, right? Let's say, Jean Grey, right? Jean Grey, right?
Right.
Okay. So she's got her second mutation happening, whatever, well into her adulthood.
Okay.
And she wants to make love with her partner. In this case, let's say it's Scott. There's certain things that are always kind of like on the cusp of coming out of control when you have psychic powers, when you have
oh my God,
telekinesis and all that shit.
This is the fucking mall rats stuff that people get into. Okay. This
I don't want to talk about this, but it's like when you talk about shaming characters for certain ways they're acting, you have to take into account all of it.
I find it to be such a weird thing. The fact that they've had to explain how Superman can have sex and have children within the shows and the lore and everything like that. I'm like, you guys are, what the fuck? Like, who cares? Why are you so wrapped up in this? He can fly.
Hey,
what are you talking about?
He can also fuck. Okay.
Superman fucks. The Brody and Mallrats thing where he's like, no, we can't be with Lois Lane because, and I'm like, oh my God, I've been in comic shops or that conversation.
Yeah. It's weird. And it's like, no, this is the law. This is what's happening. It's like, no, this is still just your fucking headcanon, man.
Yeah. I think it's hard to apply that to Stranger Things because clearly they deal with, sorry, hit my mic there. They deal with like PTSD a lot, and that tied to like superpowers and visiting these worlds that are really messed up and everything like that. So they explore the psychological aspects of powers getting out of control, and then when the psychological stuff gets heavy, how those powers can manifest themselves in like anger and everything like that. But it's not the Jean Grey situation like you're talking about. So I understand that argument, but I also think it's tough because that world, it's not really that big of a concern.
Yeah, because if they want things to go right, they go right.
The psychological, the psychological part is a whole separate thing of like, 11 is not. This is me getting into the whole drama situation like way further, which the same thing with Will, where I'm like, both of these kids are so stunted.
Yeah.
How can they possibly be in relationships? They are gonna be dealing with this for years.
Yeah. I feel bad for Will because he's gone through so much. Not even just saying this season, just like he's just gone through so much.
No, he's like 2 years younger than everyone else in the cast because
basically
the first 2 seasons messed him up so much.
Right. And that's being generous.
Yeah. And in real life, he's like the oldest one. And good Lord, we need to get him out of those short shorts. It's so disturbing.
we're far enough in the 80s, and he's old enough of a kid that we need to.
But he's still, it's almost like I loved it at the same time though, because it felt like he was, I don't want to change my clothing.
Yeah.
Because he's stunted emotionally and he can't move past anything. So it's almost as if he's wearing clothing from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's what I felt when I watched it. I was like, oh, is his clothing and his haircut and like the fact that he's not changing anything outward, like kind of that physical, that's me probably reading into, because I just like visual things like that.
No, I agree. I think that, and there's certain things that happened in the season that we won't talk about that pretty much confirm that theory. So
yeah. I mean, that's his whole dealio.
The Arrested Development aspect of it.
Exploring that. It's really good. It's so good. It's
good.
It's my favorite, I think, so far. Now, rewatching it, will I still feel that way? I think so. But I hope they give us more. I don't know.
Yeah. I hope they give us one more. Like, I hope that's it.
I was watching it and I was going, they should just end it here.
Yeah.
Because it was so perfect. But I feel like they did leave me wanting more. And I feel like there is more that they can tell. But I agree, they can't push it much further.
No. A spinoff would be fine. I could see that happening, especially with some of the...
I want all in or nothing.
Yeah. But I mean, we got introduced to some concepts last season that never really were fleshed out, as far as like 1 through 10,
I think they will do spinoffs. And it could go either way. Because originally, like we've talked about this, I think we've talked about this. I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but they were originally going to be individual seasons, like they do on American Horror Story and whatever. So I think that was the original plan, and then they changed it. So I think that they will do this story, the 11 Hawkins story, whatever this end game is now that they've planned. Hopefully they've planned out. And then they will do spin-offs within the Stranger Things universe. If they're not completely burnt out by then. I don't know.
Yes. Stranger Things.
I don't know. Some people want to play in their playbox forever. And some people Robert Kirkman for a while, was like, I'm just going to play in the same place forever. And then, or Matt Groening with The Simpsons. And then there's people like the creators of Game of Thrones who are like, we want to get the fuck out of here. We're going to be as sloppy as hell leaving.
Did we talk about that last episode? How Kirkman just like straight up just boned out of Walking Dead? Or did we just talk about that online? I can't remember.
We talked about it online briefly. I didn't want to talk about it too much because I didn't know if you were still reading it. I read spoilers because I didn't give a shit.
Yeah. I read 192 because I got a press release about what happened in that one, and I'm like, wow, okay.
I read like 100 issues of The Walking Dead. It's not as if I haven't read The Walking Dead. It's just, first of all, I had a lot of trouble when they changed artists from that first volume onward.
Oh my god, those first 6 issues were so great.
No.
I mean, no disrespect to Charlie Adler, but you give us those first 6, and they're just that gritty and just so.
I like that, but it's
chunky.
Also cartoony, in a way, and I love that style of art. That sells me every time. So, yeah.
Yeah, you know what happened between those two, right?
No.
So Tony Moore and Robert Kirkman had a famous falling out about the created by rights for the book.
Okay.
And it caused Tony Moore, who I guess was going to, cycle back eventually, kind of like they used to do on Invincible.
Yeah.
Where the original guy would come back for some issues. He was going to come back and just keep doing the covers, because for a while he was still doing the covers.
Right.
But when they started having that legal battle, they just kind of parted ways. So
Kirkman was saying that he wasn't a creator?
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid.
It really
I'm sorry.
Is.
If you're talking about comic books, you're both creators.
It's a visual medium.
Yeah.
You can't take credit.
You can't have sole creator
as just
credit.
a writer. Yeah. And I mean, not taking anything away from writers at all, because it's an important part of it. Stan Lee, obviously, he was the hype man as well as the writer. for a lot of these books. But yeah, that story is told by the artist. On the one comic book that I worked on, I wouldn't have done anything right without Ray Jackson on there. Ray is amazing, and he told the story, and I just filled in the words. So,
well, but it depends on the writer too. Kirkman, I'm sure, was planning out the stories pretty elaborately, and then working with the artist to create that part. I mean, if you're doing it right, you're collaborating. Like Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples, or name any of them. But yeah, that sounds like bullshit to me.
Yeah, I don't. It always left a bad taste in my mouth. And Tony Moore's a cool guy. I've talked to him a few times at different conventions. Not about that.
His artwork.
But yeah, his artwork is phenomenal. So yeah, I mean, it just felt kind of like selfish. I thought it would have been neat if Tony Moore would have come back and like finished out the series as well, with another 6 issues. So that'd have been really cool.
So what do you think about that? Like whole, what did they end on? What was 193?
193.
Why?
192 was the issue where the big thing happened, and then 193.
Why don't you just say spoiler alert and then just talk about it? Because I don't.
Okay, so spoiler
I don't care,
alert.
And I feel like if guys pause it and just go read the 2 issues of the comic.
That's the BMO spoiler alert right there. So
BMO bark.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't followed the book in a while, but I read 192 because I was told basically what happened. Rick got killed. So
okay.
Yeah, so they finally killed off Rick. People expected Carl to just who's still alive in the book?
Carl. Yeah.
They expected him to just fly off the handle and just start killing people and everything like that. But he took a page out of his dad's book, was super diplomatic about it, just, warned some folks that needed some warning, but didn't kill anybody. Just acted like a grown up, stayed his ass in the house.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was interesting.
So did you read the last issue?
I began to, but I got distracted by curse words.
What?
Curse words, the book that I chose for my graphic novel
challenge. I thought you were
challenge.
Somehow offended by curse words in The Walking Dead.
Could you imagine?
And then couldn't read it, and I was like, I'm sorry, language? What?
Yeah, could you imagine me getting weirded out by the language of The Walking Dead?
God, that would be awesome.
Not the graphic violence. Just, oh no, that's just too adult for me. I can't. Oh no.
Oh, that would be great. I kind of wish that happened. Yeah, so that ended abruptly. I was curious as to whether
it was a surprise to the distributors as well, because they basically solicited the rest of the issues to Diamond. I can't wait to hear Kirkman talk about this, because it just seems so irresponsible of a creator, I guess, but it's also just kind of like a big fuck you.
He wanted to be surprising. That's what he loves to do, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a surprise, all right.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, people were ordering the further issues in Diamond and everything like that, because comic shops have to order things 2 months in advance.
3, yeah.
3, yeah. So, okay. Thanks, Robert. Got a big empty spot on the shelf now.
Yeah, and they can't, you only have so much you can order budget-wise. So they missed out on possibly other books because he wanted to stop on a weird number. I don't know. I feel like there's something else going on behind the scenes. I
feel like there is too. He's got a lot of stuff in the works. Of course, the show is still going on. He's still creative on that. Fear the Walking Dead is still going on. That's actually in progress now. In fact, I think it's airing tonight. He's got other comics at Image. This book called Die, 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 which is another weird thing because this book just showed up in comic shops one Wednesday. It wasn't solicited. It wasn't announced. It was just a book that Robert Kirkman wrote and he worked on with another artist, and it just showed up in the deliveries, and comic shops sold it, and everybody was happy. I don't know.
So comic shops bought it and didn't know what they were buying?
I don't think they bought it. I think it was just given to them. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong here, but it was just kind of like a surprise sort of thing, Yeah. So Kirkman is trying to do some Willy Wonka type shit with the comic industry. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would love to hear him try to explain some of this so we're not just guessing, but it really does seem like he's just one of those creators that keeps things close to the vest now.
I feel bad for the people who were collecting all of it.
Oh, yeah?
And did not expect 193 to be the last one. And then it flew off the shelves, and now they don't have the first edition.
It's a weird number to end on. Like, Preacher ended on 66, and that kind of makes sense, you know, because Mark of the Beast and all that. Yeah. But yeah, just 193, I don't know if that has any special meaning to him, or he just ran out of steam. Like, maybe he thought he had enough story to tell to make it to 200.
I mean,
and it just ran out.
He claimed he never wanted it to end in the beginning. And that to me was a, like, ugh. I remember that being a red flag. Right.
Every writer says that, though. Every writer. I feel like every writer that works on a book is like, yeah, this is a dream job, and I want this to go as far as I can take it, and either that or they go the direction.
You guys, if you're thinking that, I always want it to end. I am just like, please, for the love of God, let this be over.
Yeah.
The shit that I'm writing, I'm just like, oh my God, I just want it to be done.
Yeah, it's nerve wracking when you're crafting a story like that.
Like a comic like that, though, like
So in my book, I had a character named Arsenal, and he was able to, like, absorb fire into this suit that he made. And the point of the whole thing was, like, he was basically just being framed for crimes that he didn't commit, and the only thing that he had was his intellect and this suit of armor that was a lot like kind of a cross between Iron Man and John Stewart Green Lantern, which you know, was on purpose. I mean, completely by accident. But he could absorb fire, and he could, like, emit it in, like, a green flame, which is supposed to be as hot or as controllable as he wanted it to be, depending on his mood.
Okay.
Until the suit became, like, a part of him, and his eyes would glow green. It was just a cool way to get, like, interesting cover art out of it.
Right.
But yeah, at the end of my series, I just got so burnt out, and this is only 4 issues, it's a miniseries. I got so burnt out, I just blew him the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, that was the ending.
Yeah.
And I always intended to bring him back in another story, you know, just to say he survived that explosion or something like that. And I alluded to it at the end of the story. Spoilers. But yeah, I just got tired of writing it. I'm like, all right, boom, he's done. The end.
Yeah. Well, so and endings are hard. So I could see why he would be like, we're never going to end it. I don't know how people are reacting to the actual ending itself that he wrote.
Yeah. I'd
imagine it's received okay. I mean, hasn't most of his stuff been received well?
I think people people are pretty vocal about being pissed off at Walking Dead lately, especially lately.
Because it's dragging on.
Yeah, because it's dragging on, but that's always been the point. The point was to see what happens after the zombie apocalypse. And people are like, oh, this has been going on for too long. Well, that was the whole gimmick in the first place. So I don't get that. I know I burned out of it. I was like, okay, this is my stop. I'm off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for the Ride or Dies, I do wonder what they are thinking of the sudden stop.
I would like more stories that don't view post-apocalyptic, like, everything's terrible. Humans are terrible. Yeah. I just want more. I think that's why I like Tomorrowland so much, that movie that came out a couple years ago.
Yeah,
because it was so positive. And I'm like, let's start making this stuff again. It doesn't have to be all doom and gloom. I'm a little bit burnt out on that. So
I mean, there could be stakes, but it doesn't always have to be that way.
Right. I mean, if it's a good story, there will be stakes, but, like, it's, you know, I don't know. I'm ready for different types of stories.
Yeah, same here. So
that one's
maybe
gone.
we need to get to making them. Yeah.
Making a what?
Making them stories.
Oh, making them. Yeah.
You know, so one of us is a writer who should probably do that. I guess.
I am writing. Leave me alone. God damn. Leave me alone. All right.
I'm encouraging you. I'm not bullying you. I swear. I'm encouraging you to work on your craft.
Kanye West is going crazy again.
Speaking of bullies, Yeah, Kanye West is going crazy again.
I
Now,
literally saw this right before we started recording, and I added
I was
it
going
to
to
show
say.
because it was so funny to me.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this. This is the first I've heard of it. What's he doing now?
So he wants to build. Okay, this is where we go. I know your heart's in the right place, but what is wrong with you? He wants to build homes for the homeless. Great idea,
Okay.
right? Low-income
Yeah.
housing for the homeless.
Sure.
Great idea, especially I think he lives in LA. It's a huge problem there. Needs to be solved.
Yes.
He's inspired by Star Wars architecture.
My oh my.
So Luke's house in Tatooine, the dome, like that home, that's what he wants to make.
Wow. All right, Kanye.
Yeah. So this is what he's interested in making for homeless people. What? Okay. First of all, those homes were clearly designed for a desert planet.
Yes.
Like that's why they exist that way, because they have sandstorms and they have all of this shit, and so it's low into the ground and it's got that dome shape so they won't sustain a lot of damage when shit goes down.
Right.
And Kanye's like, homeless people, domes, done, solved it.
So if he'd have done just a little bit of research, just one Google search, he would have seen like, oh, the creator of Star Wars, George Lucas, is actually making affordable housing for the underprivileged. Maybe I should just give him some money.
But is it domes, yo? Is it domes?
But is it Star Wars themed? Can I make a big headline out of this? Man, see, this is the difference between doing things to be seen and doing things to be charitable. Like,
yeah, he's
the people who don't talk about the charity work that they do, the people that just do shit just on the slide. Those are folks that I love. Those are the folks.
Keanu's.
Yeah, that they're recognized. They're not bragging on themselves. Basically, people brag on them, and that's cool. I saw somebody on Twitter today just posting like, yeah, hey, I don't understand why men, when they talk about how good women are, they're always talking about like the selfless acts they do and the things that they do that go above and beyond. Like, bitch, that's not the only thing about us. Like, yes, that's true. However, when you do go above and beyond, and when you do go out of your comfort zone to do things for others to make their lives a better experience, that deserves special recognition. And I think that's what it is. It's like, you can brag on yourself all you want. You can talk about how much money you give to charity, how often you do charitable work, but that's self-congratulatory. You're an inspiration, sure.
Yeah.
And there's pros and cons to it. I don't want to put it all in one basket. There's pros and cons because, well, and this is something I struggle with too. It's like, all right, so if I do something charitable, I want to make it a point to show folks like, hey, Black folks are out here doing this too, because it's unfortunate that.
Wow, why'd you bring race into it?
I know.
I see color, man. I don't know what's wrong with you.
The only color I see is green when I fundraise.
Greed is
homeless.
good.
Exactly.
Donate to our Patreon. No, I understand what you're saying. Because you're trying to be an influence within your community. Like,
exactly.
That's not a selfish thing. That I think that's a noble thing.
Yeah, and I mean that's one way to look at it. And the other side of that coin is to say that you're bragging on yourself and you're trying to make yourself look like a hero.
Well, you're that too, but
that's not. That's what I'm saying, though. It's like one of those things. It's just one of those things.
It's a fine line, but I mean, considering Kanye was like, I'm Jesus and everything a couple of years ago, and how he really has some major problems.
Yeah.
I think we can safely say that we know where Kanye lands on this.
Remember when people were trying to make Jesus Walks into some type of like Christian anthem? It's like, that's.
Lord, show me the way.
You should listen to the lyrics of that song before playing that in church. Maybe just one spin. No. Okay.
No.
All right. Cool.
I mean, did you ever have to? You did the church, like you were youth pastor stuff.
I did the church thing.
Yeah,
yes.
you did the church thing. So like you had to deal with those terrible cover knockoff artists, right?
Oh gosh, yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. The sound-alikes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
to me, if even if the lyrics weren't matched up, as long as they weren't the sound-alikes, I would have been very happy. Ugh.
Yeah,
I don't, and I go to some stores and stuff sometimes,
yeah,
and they're Christian people own them, and they're, local shops or whatever, so they're playing Christian music.
yeah.
And I'm like, look, I don't have any problem with you being religious or you having your, I maybe having a cross, I don't know, on the wall. I don't know what, but please don't play this shit. That music is terrible. You should know by now that it's terrible. We know it's terrible. Everyone knows that it's not good music. Like,
And that's the thing too. There's good gospel music out there.
yes. No. Okay. I'm not necessarily talking about, it's hard to paint this with broad strokes. There is good gospel. There are good artists peppered in, but for the most part, this stuff is just so preachy that it's annoying.
Yeah.
Gospel,
No, it's true.
Gospel isn't necessarily I know what you're talking about. It's a little bit, because it can be soulful.
If you're a Christian rock band and you're very on the nose about your theme, that kind of goes against what a lot of music, the subtext basically of music is what appeals to some people.
Yeah.
Because one of the greatest things about music is that two people can listen to one song and get two completely different meanings out of it.
Right.
You have less wiggle room in the case where it's supposed to be about Jesus. Now there's one rare exception that I remember growing up of a song that just rocked. And that was Jars of Clay, and it was Flood. I don't know if you've ever heard this song.
Yeah, I think that was that band was a thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think they were a thing, but that song in particular was actually really good. And
there are definitely some good songs in there.
Right. But
and
that's
some
the
good
thing.
artists, but it's like
there aren't that many, and it's hey, here are a plethora of Christian bands. I was
going to say there aren't that many, but there are so many of them.
Right, because that's a specific market.
Yeah,
it's just a specific market. So yeah, I don't know where we're going with this.
I don't either. So Starbucks. So Kanye's crazy. Starbucks. Right, Kanye, this is a Resnaculous corner.
Oh, okay.
Starbucks is launching a new crazy drink.
Oh, what is it this time?
It is the tie-dye Frappuccino. It is apparently launching tomorrow.
Ooh, okay.
The blended drink is the chain's latest attempt to replicate the success of the unicorn Frappuccino. One Starbucks employee described it as tastes similar to banana-flavored Laffy Taffy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, they lost me there.
Yeah, it sounds awful. It looks just as terrible. It's insane looking.
Now, this actually brings up an interesting question. I'll ask you this.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Laffy Taffy, Laffy Taffy is going to be, this is further Resnaculous news, they're going to be releasing a bag of Laffy Taffy that features all banana flavored Laffy Taffy. A lot of different brands have been doing this lately, like Starburst has their fave reds or whatever, or they have a bag just strawberry. So whatever your jam is, they've got your flavor, your variety for you. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like that's cheating, or do you feel like that's all right, this is playing to a certain market?
I don't like Laffy Taffy, so I can't speak to that. I do like Starburst though, so I can kind of get into this. I usually find if I don't like more than one of the thing in there, let's say you get Starbursts. If I don't like half of the Starbursts that are in that set, why would I like Starbursts? So, it was always like, oh my God, look, I found a pink one. That was the shit.
Right.
But I understand that if you get a bag and it's all pink Starbursts, it's both the greatest thing in the world and kind of like, but I didn't have to chase it. I don't know.
It's just not as rewarding.
I never bought it.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not selling as well as I thought.
I guess. I've had the Fave Reds before, but...
Now, what's in the favorite? It's just the red and pink?
So it's red, pink, and they take like the reds from, cherry and strawberry, and then they take some of the reds from the other, like, tropical Starburst and all that.
Oh, okay.
They do watermelon, I think. They have some type of like pink lemonade in there, something like that.
Gotcha.
You know? Yeah, so it's just like, if it's got like a pinkish reddish hue, we're throwing it in the bag.
I like the strawberry. That was always my favorite.
Yeah.
And then I kind of didn't really care beyond that. I like the lemon ones too.
This is gonna be like the potato chip order discussion, because like
I actually don't even know all of the flavors off the top of my head. So
Starburst is cherry, strawberry, lemon, and orange.
Is that it?
I feel like they have a green one in there too, but I don't think so.
Ask D.
Yeah, no, she's in Horizon right now. She's not paying attention to us anymore.
I think you're right. I actually liked most of those then. I'm not a huge fan of cherry a lot of times.
Oh, they have a green apple too.
Oh, fuck that. Trash.
Yeah.
Trash.
Yeah.
So yeah, my ranking would be based off of memory would be strawberry, then lemon, then orange, and then cherry and green apple.
You would put cherry down at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no. Cherry tastes like medicine to me. Like a lot of the artificial cherry flavor stuff. So yeah, no, I don't. And when I was a kid, I used to like eat lemons, like just for fun.
Yeah.
I was that kid. So lemon is usually a higher ranking.
Oh, you know what? Good news. It looks like green apple is only included in the jelly bean variety of Starburst.
Well, that's fine because I hate jelly beans.
There you go.
Don't like them. Don't get it. Don't understand why it's a thing.
Jolly Rancher hard candy, all lemon. No,
thank you.
No,
what's your ranking?
Cherry, no. Cherry, orange, strawberry, lemon.
Oh my God, we're like opposite. That's the exact opposite.
Yeah. Wow. I wasn't even I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Wow. Awesome. It's funny because I went off about yellow Starburst at one point, just thinking that, silly me, thinking it was a universal, thing that everybody didn't like yellow Starburst.
I've been that way so many times with things like that are not significant. And then everyone is like, abso-fucking-lutely not. And wait, what? Are we at war now? Is this how this happens? Okay.
Like, is this how we break up as friends? Oh my God.
Yeah.
So Caitlin Rosberg expressed at one time that she really dug yellow Starburst. And I'm like, see, this is what makes a friendship, because I hate yellow. So when I get a pack of Starburst, you, my friend, can have all my yellows.
Guess
so
what?
It works out. Yeah.
That's our fucking friendship now.
Boom. Right there.
You realize that if you and I are hanging out, we can get a Starburst. You can take all of the orange and the cherry. I can take all of the pink and the lemon.
There you go.
And it's set.
See, it's even worse at Halloween, because at Halloween, it's like you get those 2-packs, so you could strike out or you could hit gold. There's no in between.
I love the gamble though. I really do. I think that's why the bags that you're talking about don't appeal to me as much, because the gamble is so fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Just throw it all in the mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is not the name of the episode.
Banana Laffy Taffy. That is a terrible description for a drink.
Yeah.
I will not.
It doesn't make me want it.
First of all, I'm not going to get these intricate Starbucks drinks. Like, I didn't get the unicorn one because I was like, this seems like it's putting a lot on these poor employees.
Baristas, yeah.
Baristas, yes, that's the
Not only that, but like with banana flavor, if I'm going to drink a banana flavored beverage, I at least want the nutritional value of the banana.
Banana milkshake. Give me a banana milkshake.
Yeah, give me a banana milkshake or a banana health shake or something like that.
Banana peanut butter milkshake all day.
Or a banana.
Or
I mean,
a banana. Yeah.
I sound like a grown up now, but yeah,
How
I
much
mean, if
does
it's
it
gonna be,
cost? It's one banana. Yeah.
I mean, if I'm gonna eat something or drink something that tastes like banana, I want some reward from that. It's like eating like a plate of green beans and not getting any of the nutritional value at all.
Do you not like bananas?
They're okay. I mean, they don't taste bad, but it's not like I need a snack. I'm gonna go have a banana. It's like,
Hard
no,
opposites.
I'll throw it in a shake.
When
It's
we
like,
have the bunker farm, I will eat the bananas then, I guess, because
that's fine.
I'm a banana fan. That's my go-to fruit. Like,
It's like I appreciate bananas for their nutritional value and for their potassium and all that business, but yeah, when it comes to like the flavor, it's cool.
nah, okay.
I don't
So
mind
even
it.
though banana appeals to me,
Uh-huh.
the the artificial banana like this is not very
No.
appetizing.
And I'd argue it doesn't even taste like actual banana.
No,
it's
it
just
doesn't.
a flavor that you've been told over time is banana.
This is why green apple sucks.
This is why grape sucks. That's why green apple sucks. That's why banana sucks.
Wait.
They don't taste like these flavors.
Wait, what are the blue Tootsie Pops? Are those
blue raspberry?
I don't know.
Yeah, they market them as blue raspberry.
Okay. So then I won't fight you about grape. Blue Tootsie Pops rule.
Yeah, they're good.
But
and I'm not saying grape is bad.
Is good too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Tootsie Pops, one more thing.
Yes.
Did you like the chocolate ones?
God, no.
Fuck those.
Those were like, no, those were the old maid.
Too much.
Those are the old maid. It's too much. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
I didn't come here for chocolate. I came here for fruit flavor and chocolate in the middle.
You know what I wish I could have again, as far as like a childhood type of thing? They had the Charm Pops. You remember the Charm Pop lollipops? They had sour ones that were not apple. Like they were the other flavors, but as sour. And
that's cool.
So good. And I haven't had them in years.
Huh.
I'd like to. I doubt they even make them anymore. I had them when I was a kid.
Where did you get candy like that growing up?
Like local candy shops. There was one shop that we could walk to called the Candy Store, and if I'm not mistaken, and this could be wrong, but if I remember correctly, it was like a family owned. It was a local shop, family owned, and I think that the man who ran that shop was developmentally disabled.
Oh.
He definitely worked there, and I think he was like, it was kind of like his family helped him, but like it was his shop, and so we would go up there and we'd get like sodas and the old fashioned candies, and we have candy cigarettes, and
yeah, that sort of thing.
It was a really, and like I think it's changed hands a couple times, and I think it's still kind of a candy shop, but like that one of those like they make their own candy in house sort of thing. It's not
yeah.
But yeah, it was a really great little place. When I was a kid, just right up the street from where I lived, or because I moved around a lot, it was right near one of the elementary schools. So like you could just go there, and it was local. And I feel like looking back, a lot of people did want to support it because it was like a nice family or something like that owned it.
Yeah, that's cool. I like stuff like that. Now, stop me if you've heard this one. Please do, because it's kind of weird. Did I ever tell you about the basement candy shops that I used to go to growing up?
Oh no, this is
brand new. Okay,
I'm not a therapist. I can't help you if you've been touched.
Oh no. We're good. We're good. But this almost brings the entire conversation full circle, because this is a situation that no person in this day and age, our age or otherwise, would put themselves in, but it was just socially acceptable back in the early 80s. Okay. So when I was growing up, I spent a lot of time over at my grandmother's place, my granny, which is how I differentiate my mom's mom from my dad's mom. So mom's mom was granny, dad's mom was grandma. Just a little bit of backstory there for you. So when I would go over to my granny's house, I would basically have run of the whole neighborhood. It was like Ed, Ed, and Eddie. As long as I stayed on the block, everything was like cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So my cousins and I, we were the little hood rats running around, getting into all kind of mischief and shit. It was a lot of fun. We were good kids. You know, we didn't like, you know, beat anybody up or rob anybody or lie or steal or anything like that. But we'd get into mischief, you know. And in our adventures, we were sometimes told not to leave the front porch. We would leave the front porch and we would go over to, one of our neighbors' houses, who had a candy shop in her basement. Now this woman, my grandmother knew her, you know, she was, an upstanding member of the community. But this sounds like the plot to Ma almost at this time. But yeah, at a certain time of day, I want to say like 10 a.m. or something like that, she would open up her basement as a candy shop. She had a display and everything down there. She had set prices, of course. You come down there, you get your penny candy in a bag and you get the hell out. That's all.
She was dealing weed, dude. This was a front. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it.
I was buying it for $1 a bag at a time. Not weed, candy.
No, she's clearly selling this candy as a front.
Like, this is an elderly woman, and maybe,
you think elderly women can't sell weed?
Maybe Social Security wasn't, you know, cutting the mustard because she had her own house. So who knows? Back then, I had no idea the value of money or how far a dollar stretched. Yeah. All I knew was that I could go down there at 10 a.m., get some candy. She was probably just in a house coat or whatever.
We had things like that. Something similar to that, where it was like neighborhood, and there was a nice couple that lived in a house in the neighborhood, and they didn't have kids yet. They were still younger, and so they would let us like go into the basement like to grab a soda or like popsicle type of thing, and then like we just say hi and whatever, and nothing, like it was fine, like there was nothing.
But you weren't paying, right?
No,
you weren't being charged for the service.
No, they were just being nice to us, and like they were totally nice. Nothing to my knowledge ever happened, but like, you know, now looking back at it, I'm like, what the fuck?
Right. Like, how did I survive? Like, how did I not get kidnapped?
I have so many moments like that, and I was, you know, more sheltered than a previous generation, and then they were more sheltered than the previous one. I don't know how any of us are alive.
So it's just kind of weird, right? And okay, so I'm kind of like bearing the lead here. There were 3 candy stores on this block.
In basements?
So there were 2 basement stores, and there was one place that was like the Valhalla. It was like, okay, at the end of the block, there was a pink and white house, which we called creatively the pink and white house.
Okay.
And this one opened the latest. It would open at noon. And the great thing about it was, in addition to all the candy offerings, she also had like sugar cookies and stuff like that.
Oh.
But the best of the best was that sometimes they would set up the fryer and they would sell you a chicken wing and some French fries for 50 cents.
Did they charge by the wing?
They charged by the wing.
One wing. How much for one wing?
50 cents.
How much for one wing?
Chris Rock would have been in heaven. It's like,
that is
you could
so good.
So you could come out of there with the wing.
Can I get a cup of soda? Like,
yeah. Of course, they had it available for you too, but that's an extra 50 cents.
Yeah.
But what was fucked up, and this is what made me finally grow up and stop going there and actually consider.
Oh no. What dark turn did this take?
One time.
Oh no.
I got 2 wings, and I went back to my granny's place because none of my friends were outside, and of course, you know, none of them had phones or pagers or whatever bullshit back then. And I'm sitting there, and I'm about to dig in and watch some Channel 11, WTTW, PBS, whatever. And there was a press-on nail in one of the baskets.
No!
And it was like...
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Oh...
And I'm sitting there, and it's like my mind is trying to like it's just a press-on nail.
No,
you know, it's not a real nail.
No,
You just What about the other? No, this is a separate package altogether.
Trash.
So maybe, yep, trash. All of it.
Trash.
And I never ate there again.
Nope.
Not even the pre-wrapped candy. I'm like,
Yeah.
I think this is my first boycott. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't. I can't. And I don't understand how people are fine. Oh, no. Mm-mm.
I mean, of course, like none of these places had licenses to sell anything. It was just like,
No.
okay.
But the pre-wrapped candies, I understand. I remember the first time that I went to like a bulk store, like any of those bulk food stores, and you saw the boxes of full-size candy bars or the boxes of chips or whatever, and you go, oh, that's where our teachers or whatever got that stuff. That would be our reward if we got so many stars or something like that. And it clicked for me for the first time that that's where they got the thing, or your stand, like at the pool. That's where they got the stuff, and they're charging $1 for each one of them, and they're paying, 25 cents a piece.
Yeah.
This shop, and so it's the same thing. I'm sure they were going to bulk stores or whatever, and just stacking that stuff up, taking it and selling it for a profit.
And that's how teachers had to make the rent sometimes.
Oh, yeah. No. The teachers were just that's a totally separate thing. I remember teachers going above and beyond. And that was an example of if you did really well, then you'd get, to pick a thing. Like maybe you get a cool little toy. And it was like dollar store type stuff. But it's still, they still had to pay for that stuff. So
Right. No, according to Varsity Blues, the way teachers made ends meet on the weekend was that they danced at bars.
I don't want your life. Oh, that was terrible. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So
Wall of Weird is gonna
Wall of Weird
is gonna transition, and it's still gonna be Risnaculous because this is a New Jersey story, not a Florida story.
Okay. All right.
So imagine you're at a snack stand. A snack stand which is in New Jersey, and you find a bag of bones. Found.
You mean a copy of Stephen King's Bag of Bones?
Yes.
Okay.
At the State Line Lockout snack stand in Alpine made a chilling discovery when they arrived to work Monday morning.
A bone-chilling discovery?
So there was a bag, a plastic bag, like a shopping bag of bones hanging on the door, like the front door. And they contacted the police and they're like, we think there are bones here. So the cops go up and they're like, yeah, these are human bones. And so now they have to investigate it. The person who left the bones, left the plastic bag on the snack stand's door, who is not currently a suspect, reportedly directed the police to other bones and personal items nearby. They're saying that the person who put them there is not a suspect. The bones will be submitted for DNA, cross-checked from the missing persons database, so I'm sure they'll do dental records if that's available. The State Line Lookout snack stand is located in the popular scenic overlook in Parasiles Interstate Parkway. So it's about a half mile south of New Jersey, New York State line. So, yeah, I just love that it's like, no, the person who put it there is not a suspect. And
wait a minute. He's not a suspect.
No, that's what I'm saying, dude. He's not a suspect.
Oh, God.
Yes, let me reread this part so that you... The person who left the plastic bag on the snack stand's door, who is not currently a suspect, reportedly directed the police to other bones and personal items nearby. So they just put put this there. And we're like, cool, so here's some bones that I found.
Man.
Did
you ever see
who was the person that maybe they have cameras, I guess.
This reminds me of that story from The Toys That Made Us. Did you ever watch that miniseries on Netflix?
It was good. I haven't watched any more of it, but yes, I did see it.
No, but the part. Okay, so when they were talking about the mummified corpse of what's his name, Elmer McCurdy, that they had hanging up at an amusement park.
Yeah.
In
I don't remember all the details, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but yeah, no, this is what inspired Skeletor, was that the designer of the toys saw this very realistic looking human corpse in a funhouse.
Yeah.
That happened to be a real human corpse, and nobody knew for a long time.
Yeah.
Whoa. Wow. Bag of bones.
I mean, yeah, I read that. I found this story and it went viral, so I'm sure you've heard it, where Trump in his campaign video, one of his campaign videos, was like showing models who were actually from other countries, some of them being Russian, which was just hilarious. And I was like, that's gonna be well weird. And then I was like, no, Bag of Bones wins.
Bag of Bones is the clear winner here.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Because Trump doing Trump shit is just, that's Tuesday.
I mean, and that's the thing that like people jump on, but at the same time, it's stock video, stock photos. If that's the case, you don't necessarily know. That's true. Like,
that's what I always say when people take that low hanging fruit like that. I'm like, he's done enough real.
I know. I
bullshit
just don't,
to be upset about.
I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think we should all care that much about that stuff.
Right. I mean, years from now, when we're looking back at this, we can laugh about little stupid shit like that. But now it's like, no, he's keeping kids in camps.
You assume we're going to live that long. That's so sweet.
Yeah. In this country. Yeah. Sigh. Anyway.
That was our wall of weird.
That was our wall of weird. So if you like, what do we do? If you like all the things that we laid out for you, we didn't say this at the top of the episode like we normally do, because we were so excited to talk to you guys and let you hear what's going on in our world. So follow us on the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, all at Lex and Matt. You can look for us that way. You can also go to our website, lexandmattpod.com, which Alexis has so lovingly designed for all of you. Oh my
God, you just called me by my actual name. That's weird.
Isn't it weird when people call you by your full name?
Yeah,
like if somebody says,
calling you Matthew. Like what?
Yeah, it just feels unnatural.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's so strange. But I wanted to give you your due respect. I put respect on your name because you made that baller ass website for us. So go check that out, folks, to see what I'm talking about.
And that has links to everything on there on the sidebar of it.
Everything. If you're feeling generous, throw us a couple bucks over at Patreon. It'll be worth your while. We got bonus episodes and we mail out cool stuff to you every now and then. So go ahead and check
playlists, exclusive playlists for the summer, all kinds of cool things. And, if you can't do Patreon, which is the best way to support our show, you can always share it. That's free. Share it with your friends. Give us reviews. That's something you can do for free that really helps us out. Do what you can to help out the show. We appreciate it.
And the eponymous subscribe.
Mm-hmm. It helps.
Whatever that means. Subscribe to things, yes.
No, subscribe to our show, not to things. That doesn't...
Specifically things related to us. Subscribe to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're a yes. Oh, man.
Yeah. That was good stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. We covered...
I think that's... we covered a lot.
We didn't
no
do
bonus
graphic novel.
Week. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Graphic novel challenge. Aha!
I don't have a pick. Is that bad?
No, it's good. It's fine. You can come up with something, but
it'll be on our Instagram.
What did you read this week though?
Giant Days. I might do volume 2 of it. I liked it. It was fun.
Yeah.
Fun and funny. I sent you one thing of it, which was, please God, if you can't make her love, it was basically like, if you can't make her fall in love with me, make me not want to love her anymore or something.
Oh, that's where that was from?
Yeah, that's where that was from. It was really funny.
That was really good. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Curse Words by Chris Soule. I had to figure out how to pronounce that. Thanks again, Caitlin Rosberg. Chris Soule and Ryan Brown. He's a local Chicago guy, by the way, so support this book.
Cool.
Curse Words is maybe it's like the front runner for the books that I've read so far this year.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's that entertaining. It's wacky. It's wild. It's fun. And the artwork is phenomenal. I mean, I'm overhyping it. Just go read it. It's a fun book.
That sounds really cool. Yeah, that's great.
No, it's a modern day wizard who decides, and this is only in the first few pages, but it'll hopefully hook you enough. It's about a modern day wizard who decides not to destroy the world and becomes a hipster.
Okay. That's cool.
But it's very funny.
That's great.
I enjoyed it. Like, the reason why I dug it so much is because it's not often I can say I laugh out loud at a comic book, and this one had me laughing.
That's
so
awesome.
Much so I
that's
immediately
rare.
had to share it with Dee. I'm like, you got to read this. It's just fucking nuts.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
Cool.
definitely.
Yeah, so I haven't made a pick for this week. I completely forgot to do that until now.
Yeah.
I was busy gathering those stories about Kanye West wanting to build Tatooine in LA, presumably.
Next week, I'm probably going to read a Ghostbusters book because I've been checking those out. And now that I know that they have a lore akin to the Duck books,
yeah,
I'm definitely going to dig in and just kind of see what they got going
it's
on there.
It's probably going to be the next Giant Days volume for me because I liked it enough to keep reading. But I don't know. I'll post it on the Insta to try to remember. Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah. So, thanks for listening, everyone. We appreciate it.
Thank you for listening. Thanks for showing up, and be excellent to each other.
Bye.